Hello, slot car drag race fans. This project is Reher Morrison's 1982-83 Chevy Camaro and the late, great Lee Shepherd who drove it. This is a monogram 124 scale car. We are going to make our next slot car drag car out of this. If you're just building the model, everything looks great except for one main thing. It's the 4-link suspension. This is where monogram did not fare so well. The 4-link is totally wrong, and they could have made it a lot better. In this case, the chassis will lift and the housing will raise into the car, and the chassis will rotate down at the rear end. This is just a simple drawing of our 1983 Chevy Camaro. The wheelbase is 101 inches, and for Pro Stock at the time, the minimum weight was 2350. So our model, the wheelbase is 4.25, the rear axle to center of gravity, and this I picked a center of gravity right here. This is the neutral line here, and if you want more information, you can find it online. Just look up 4-link instructions, setting your 4-link. So I drew the car out, I set that 4-link up, and this is what I found. So the rear axle to the center of gravity, 2.125. Also from the front spindle to center of gravity, 2.125. We're talking about from the rear to here, 2.125. And from here, center spindle to the center of gravity, 2.125. And with that, we get 50% weight in the front, 50% weight in the rear. Now for a 2,400 pound car, we'll say it runs at 750. The length should be 48 to 50 inches to the instant center. From here to here should be 48 to 50 inches. Well, it's not. The lower bar is set 4 degrees down, which is totally wrong. It should be either 0 or 1/2 degree to 3/4 of a degree. Or it can be, like I said, 0. I calculate 43 inches to the instant center, 43 inches. That's below the neutral line. That means this car is below the neutral line. This car will squat in the rear. In this case, the chassis will lift and the housing will raise into the car, and the chassis will rotate down at the rear end. So I know it's just a model. I used to scale cars, and that's exactly what I did. So if you want more information, you can find out online. But I really appreciate you hanging in with me. And let's get together with the rest of the car and build it. This Camaro body is very light. Surprising, it is so light. I put the rear piece on and made a removable type, parachute type system. As we flip the car over, you can see it there. Install the front piece, as you can see. When it comes to the front headlight assembly, whether you build it as a model or a slot car, the headlights should be the last thing to go in because you still have to paint it. Of course, before you put that front piece on, now is a good time to go ahead and fit those front headlight assemblies. But whether you build it as a slot car or drag car, you still have to paint it. So after the front is put on, check your headlights and put your covers on. And this is number 50 for the left front. For my slot car drag car, I might have to remove or modify some of the engine compartment pieces here, and this one here, and on the other side, and maybe this piece here. Of course, you have to remove that before you put your hood on. It's a slot car.
Painting the hood is depicted by the pictures. It was now time to face the biggest challenge of all. Those decals on top of the hood. Now these are at least 40 years old. To place them, I followed the instructions from another YouTuber. I've placed the link below. I actually cut them up in 3 pieces to avoid misplacing them, and my lord, it worked.
Just got the chassis in today. Lots of mods on this. These are the front wheels that they came with. They're just about 0.875 of an inch, around 7/8 of an inch, but this won't do. And these rear tires are just under an inch. That won't do either. So to replace them, I got the mid-2741. They're 0.980 inches tall, and they look a heck of a lot better and taller. This is the original one that came with the 83 Camaro. Now for the rears. Our rears are Goodyear 1 3/8 inch tall tires. The next thing I could buy would be these. These are 1 5/16 inches tall. And that number, yep, 243. Got this from Slot Car City, Mickey Vegas. Now, of course, going to go ahead and use the pickup. That'll be standard. And these body mounts will be shifted. Put an axle in. Yeah, all together. And like I said before, I did have to trim those areas out in front, make the pickup fit in the chassis. Oh boy, I'm loving it. Now is the time I want to talk to you about several things. And one is the ride height. That had to be completely changed. So I put a link down at the bottom how to make this jig up. And on this piece here that holds the chassis to the jig, I had to elongate it up a little bit. And it's higher than about 1/8 of an inch where it should have been, because the ride height, these big tires are so, it brings that ride height so much. Also the front tires. The way it looks now, I went ahead and put the body on, and I think these wheels, tires, are hitting this upper wheel mount under the hood. So yes, smaller would be better. The front runners, their front tires, they were advertised at 0.980, supposedly. But actually I found out they were 1.080 inches. And I said, well, that's a little too high. Why is that so high? Let's take a look at them. Wow, why is that thing sitting so high? So here's one of them. Let's take a side profile and look at it front on. See? Look how that's mounted. It's not mounted correctly. So we remounted them, and here's the norm. Now that went from 1080 to 1060. We still got a little height there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I don't have all the tools, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll just go ahead and put them in my drill press jig and see if we can't sand them down to try to bring it around 1 inch or so. These are the front runners. They actually measured out to 1.025. And if you're doing the scaling times 24, measures out to 24.5, 24.6 or so. And I actually had some real tires like these. So here it is mounted up in our drill press jig. As you can see, right now it's measured out 1.050. We'll get it down to 1.025, and we're coming along. Okay, that did the trick. We are now at 1.025 for our front runners. And as you can see, oh, that's nice. If you want to make further adjustments on your ride height, you can just loosen this screw up and on the other side and change it accordingly. And that'll drop it a little bit. Now, if you watch my video on how to mount your slot car body onto your slot car chassis, this should be real easy by the time you come to this. Okay, I put my ride height for the 83 Camaro 3/16 of an inch around here. And let's go ahead and take these arms off. The length of my front body tube was measured at 2.825. The height of these tubes for your front body mount is 0.800 both sides. And I've got some internal marks there and on the body here. I'm just go ahead and roughly mount this thing. You're seeing it in real time. Okay. So the front ride height was checked. It's at 3/16. The tube lines up with my marks inside, and we'll just go ahead and remove the body here and put those arms back on, and we'll get everything lined and start drilling the body. After putting the arms back on and measuring the height from the base of the jig to the bottom of the body mount tube, it was both sides were 0.800. inches. I removed the one on the right side and just very carefully slide that one out. And then we'll go ahead and put the body on. Now, because I don't have 3 hands or even 4, I use this as a prop. The hole is drilled. I start off with 032. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to 035. The first one's done on the left side. Okay, the front body mounts are in, our right side and our left side. And if you take a look at my video, how to mount your body to your chassis, you'll get the rear, kind of rudimentary just to go ahead and do it all over again, but take a look. I keep forgetting to put this part in for the rear body mount pin location, and here it is. Okay, everything is at right height, even in actual cars. Chassis is squared in the jig, front body mounts, pins are in, the rear body height from the front of the rear fender opening is 1/4 of an inch. And that's basically from this point to this point, 1/4 of an inch. Same on our model. So we install the rear arms along with the body mount tube jig and checking height from the base to the bottom of the body mount tube as before, like in the front one. Now on this one, it comes to be 1.141 inch. These are tight on both sides, actually on all 4 sides. Now we're ready to go ahead and remove our pins and keep the arms at the length they are at. Once the pins are removed, you can go ahead and remove this rear body mount jig. You won't have to worry about the ones in the front because they're all silver soldered. They're definitely not going to move, but keep the arms up. Now you can take the forward arms off. Okay, so this is where your expertise comes in. The rear chassis mount right here can't be used. It's too close to the fender, inside fender, just too darn close. The other one I picked earlier, which is a better position, and I've actually put some pencil marks up here. And so later on, you can go ahead and do the measurement. And basically, that's it. The rest is up to you. By following the forward front body mounts, you can go ahead and correctly do the rears. Good luck. Be precise. Check 2 or 3 times, drill once. Now is the time to go ahead and remove the body. And where you put the pencil marks, I came up with 2.920. You might come up with something different. So cut your body mount stainless steel tube to a little bit greater than 2.920. Then check and recheck, grind it, and filing it so it just glides in. This is very critical. Go ahead and get your body mount squared in the jig. Make sure it's centered, squared, and when you're ready, go ahead and put the body back on. When it's set, then you can go ahead and silver solder those connections here and there. And then after that, it's just a matter of putting the body back on and drilling for the pins.
Hello mates. This is AI Molly. I have been asked to do this by Bill 7974. The Reher Morrison Shepherd decals are all in place. Headlights are in. Tail lamps need to be painted. Rear wing and chute needs to be installed. Apply 2 coats of clear, and it's off to the races for testing.
Well, look at this. Second coat of clear on, and now it's time to put the body on the slot car drag chassis and go racing.
Dude!
All in all, the RMS Chevy Camaro was a success. Bill 7974 has a new project in the wings, and that is a 1966 Chevy 2 Pro Mod Nova. Thanks for watching.